it's not my job to bring a character into my comfort zones of, yeah, that sits good with Michael. My job is to actually go out to where he is. Once a character's up and running, he or she does kind of have a life of its own. And to me, you know, getting up in front of, like when I've had to get up and do things in front of an audience with no character, I'm terrified. I have to speak at my sister's wedding, you know, that's like, oh, I'll fret for days over it. Or I had to do like a little mini CBC hosting gig where I just had to look to camera and go, hi, I'm Michael, and this is going to be happening. Well, what is that? I don't know. There's no character. It's me, you know. Who am I? And then that whole thing kind of starts, you know.
Excuse me.
Whoa.
Do you know where Cle Court is?
Yeah, follow me.
Thanks.
Hey, your first time here?
Oh, yes.
Hey, don't go anywhere. Exciting place, huh?
I guess.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of just go with the flow.
Problem?
No, I like your shoes. They're practical, but they're also very, That's Plea right there. I'll see you. I had a very good, very classy theater arts teacher in high school. And, you know, it was the classical thing. When I got into grade 9 and you're filling out, I need how many credits for the end of the year, and sitting in the library and filling out wood shop and gym, and, you know, and then I filled out theater because, you know, the guy beside me said, oh, you lie on the floor and make noises and they give you a credit. So, you know, I fill it in. And it ended up being the hardest course I took in high school. And high school became like a mini theater school because of this woman. Her name was Kate Roberts, and when I got to grade 13 and kind of thought, okay, I don't think I'm going to be an airline pilot anymore, because that was kind of the plan. I think I might want to do this. And she suggested, you know, the theater school, and so I auditioned for a whole bunch of places. I ended up getting into the theater school, and I went right from high school into the theater school.
It's Ecuador. Leaky pipe needs a sleeve. It's just a couple weeks.
You've got to be kidding.
It's just a favor. This company needs me.
Well, I'm glad somebody does.
Got my smoke, friend. Somebody's got to pay for all this, you know. We got the vacations and all this shopping.
We've been gone for 6 months. I don't call a roll in the hay and a trip to the mall a vacation.
Film and TV can be a haven for lazy actors because you're only doing 30 seconds of intense activity at a time, only have to memorize about that much, craft service, you know. It's all kind of done for you, and, you know, but to me, I think when you come from the theater, you kind of come with this, you are going to put it together, and I kind of like film because I like the obsessive compulsive in me likes the chance to get, you know, moment number 427 perfect and never touch it again, and then just try to orchestrate a performance all out of order and under a microscope.
Right, this is all your handwriting, Marcus.
Yeah, they were her ideas. I just transcribed them.
I see.
Congratulations.
On what?
On distracting your tutor. Well done.
Oh boy, you have got issues.
He's a genius. I've learned a lot.
Did he help? Did he help?
Oh, huge amounts. First time I ever met him, he came in, opened up his book, and he had charted out his entire journey, every single scene in the film. So I went home and did exactly the same thing. I just copy everything he does, I do.
I can't just come in and, you know, rely on the elements to kind of throw it all together. I'd rather have, you know, I think I'm a control freak. I'd rather have some kind of sense of my handle on, you know, the arc that I'm painting, the ride that I want that character to take through the piece. In the last few years, I've played a lot of characters where the God is in the details, kind of. It's just the small brushstrokes of what make up the man, you know. Even in 100 Days, you know, although there were some broad colors, some, you know, some obviously big splashes of paint that got to happen, it really was because of the containment of the guy in the details of it. And that's very similar in this one, and, you know, because of the nature of the medium is, you know, it's all broken up, and for me, the only linear way to kind of chart it out is to keep some sense of that in my head, so I can take down moment number 172 and know that it's preceded by those 4 moments and followed by those 4, and just give myself some kind of a context.
I've met somebody.
You mean a woman?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
I've invited her over for dinner tomorrow evening.
Good.
Michael brings a whole ton to the role. I think he's like one of the best 3 male actors in Canada. He's just gold. He has a what I would call a finely tuned bullshit antenna. He seems to be incapable of lying in front of the camera.
Ariel, I think she moved her own wine glass.
This!
Like, if I did, I apologize, but I think you're reading too much into it. There wasn't any message.
Why didn't you move it?
Because I didn't see it.
It was right in front of you!
But I didn't know the significance of it. Not the way you're suggesting, so how could I have known to move it?
You're a liar!
Hey, Ariel, come back. Hey, we had a deal.
At the end of every, not every film, at the end of every take, you know, I could do 157, I could just keep going because you just keep refining and finding things, and it's just always that.
Ariel, come back. We had a deal. Ariel, come back. Hey, we had a deal.
I mean, any performance that I've ever done, if I started it right now, I've already gotten a new life. Even when you wrap something and you start a first day of principal photography the next day, you're going to be able to bring stuff that you couldn't bring before. So even the work itself is a process, and I think that's kind of what the kind of zen of it is to kind of be in process. You know, characters are always unfolding, and characters are in process. They're always coming from somewhere and being somewhere intensely and heading towards somewhere, and it's watching that kind of unfold 24 frames a second is, I think, what makes it interesting to even watch. I got a manager in LA only like 3 weeks ago, so I continued to, you know, feed that thing with not being there. And I think that's part of being an actor is you kind of have to have this passport for. I mean, I have an agent in Vancouver and here in LA, and you just kind of want to create as much network as you can to create as much employment as possible, and so. But I have to say, it's nice not to live there. I like living here, and I love LA, but I don't think I'd live there again. Because there's no theatrical tradition to speak of in LA, there's this, you know, in terms of the way they look at actors even, you know, there's a lot of stuff to be dealt with in that way, you know, because, you know, they want to know the one thing that you do, and if they want to be able to flip through the resumes and go, Michael Riley does that, and Suda does that, and because an actor spends so much time, you know, building the whole palette of the colors that they paint in, to be delineated like that. Well, do you do comedy or do you do drama? Okay, bad question, you know?
I'm not blind, Miller. I got eyes that burn.
I must say, Coach Strand seems a little high-strung.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Hey, believe me, one day you're going to see a news story with his name alongside the words loner and crawl space.
This is you! Huh? Who's working the strings?
He was your hire, or should I say your miscalculation.
I came back because I started Power Play, and my daughter was starting school and didn't really want her to start the school in the LA system, and so it was that and life stuff going on that when the 2 years of Power Play were over, it was like, oh, I'm back here.
Hey.
What is it, Parker?
It's nothing. It's just I signed Bobby Gunn.
He couldn't have. He wouldn't. What's it gonna cost us?
Surprisingly little. Actually, less than you and Ray Malone were offering him.
$5 million?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
He hasn't been considered sort of a leading man, even though he's played leading man. He is a hell of a leading man in this show.
Well, Bobby Gunn's caused quite a stir. All these people want to use him in their advertising?
Want to? What are you talking about? They are dying to, and we control his rights. And it's not just these local sponsors either.
Local? These are national corporations.
Oh, yeah, what, you know, I mean by local Canada, you know.
In the last 14 years, I've done so many films where you're shooting in Canada, and this street corner is Chicago, so we get the Chicago mailbox and the street signs and so on, and it's nice to come to a city and go, this is, sorry honey, this is Hamilton, you know, this is what it is, and it is a character in this story as much as I am a character in this story, and it is so unabashedly Canadian and so unabashedly proud of being Canadian that I think that's really, I think that's important. I think it's important to do and refreshing to do.
La radio dice que uno de ustedes es americano.
The radio says that one of you's American.
Y yo quiero saber quién es. Y lo quiero saber ahora.
He wants to know who it is, and he wants to know right now.
No, listen, that's a mistake. We're a Canadian crew. We're Canadian. Edmonton, we're Canadian. ¿Quién es el americano? We're a Canadian crew.
When I did 100 Days in the Jungle, well, I think we all had this. I had pictures of the guys on the hotel room wall, just so that we never forgot that it was, they did this for real, and we're just telling their story with as much, class as possible.
Go ahead, shoot me.
Vamos, disparame.
Go ahead and shoot me. It'll give you one less gringo for you to trade with. So go ahead and shoot. Okay, how much longer for us?
¿Cuánto tiempo más?
What, November, Diciembre, Enero? Cuando? Home. Casa. Cuando? Casa. How much longer until we get out of this shithole?
I got to spend 5 days with Rod Dunbar, and the first day I went, he says, "Oh yeah, I can't meet you because I got to go up and lay some pipe with some guys. Well, can I come?" And so I went up north in Alberta and hung out with him at 4 o'clock in the morning, watched him lead his crew. It wasn't, I mean, you could go through a script with any one of those people and go, okay, flip, flip, flip. On page 24, when you walked into the house that day, tell me about all, you do that for everything. But that's actually not what you're getting. That's not the opportunity you have when you're sitting in front of someone real. It was the things he didn't say. It was watching him lead his men. It was watching him when we got to the bar after work, and he didn't talk a whole lot about the actual experience there. He said a few things like there's stuff that's going to always be left in the jungle. You can just watching the weight of the experience on the man, watching his eyes go off into reverie as he spoke about this event, this real event that we're just going to pretend to be in, however harrowing, for the next few days. Like that was, you just feel this sense of wow.
I guess like most of my things, it starts with the idea or a concept. And this one being a sense of home, alienation, and loneliness, and despair. I mean, those are the issues that I wanted to deal with in this. I'm always interested in human psychology, so most of my films are driven by the psychology behind the characters. So given that, I start looking for the best venue, the best place to put my particular situation in. And through some of my travels, I came here and found that it was the ideal place to sort of carry through my story with a lead character who's very uncentered himself, and it sort of parallels the country here because the country is lacking a definite center.
So can I ask you something? Do you ever feel overwhelmed by what? I don't know, just by all the children that depend on you, and I'll leave there. Okay.
The whole film, he sort of fights to almost keep people at bay, because he feels something inside him is not worthy to be seen because he was abandoned and things like that during his childhood. But yeah, it's definitely the most screwed up individual I've had the chance to play.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed?
By what?
Just by, I don't know, just by all the children that depend on you? What?
Just
starting to feel a beating. Good night, Doctor.
Each character sort of has, there's different speeds at which, you know, the cloak falls and you get in, and then it takes different speeds to get out depending on the character and the experience. I mean, something like, especially when you come to a foreign place, you know, the country of Guyana is so much a part, is another character in this story. So always when you're on location like that, that to me always takes a little bit longer to sort of shed, because you're taking so much of the country with you as well, you know, when you leave.
Depending on the metabolism of the character, you worked so hard to create this other, this filter through which they see the world, that it's hard sometimes when you're doing it for 18, 19 hours a day to drop it completely.
What's your name?
That's Rosemary Davis, Your Honor. Court's indulgence. Elliot Sacks, for the record.
We all know who you are, Mr. Sacks.
It's a lawyer show of sorts. It's set in Old City Hall. And I think the thing that makes it different from your typical lawyer show with the kind of glass marble, you know, good-looking people in very nice suits is is that it is set in City Hall, and it deals with a kind of another, you know, echelon of society. You know, it's addicts and homeless people and kind of, you know, real life.
You tell them to knock it off, please. Good. Listen, you know what? What are they, you know?
I've had it up to here with these women, okay? Did you see the picture of the guy they're fighting about? He's a pig. All this for a fat, sleazy pig. I mean, they're idiots.
You know, when doing your research and you walk into that building, it's amazing. You know, there are, you know, just people, there are 17 different languages being spoken all over the place, and you know, the kind of, it's hard to spot the lawyers from the people sometimes, you know, and so that's really good. I spent the better part of about a week and a half in there as a part of my research, and you know, one day I'm in there, and you know, one of the research assistants came in and said, you know what, one of the lawyers that we based your character on as a template, it happens to be up in courtroom 112 now doing a plea hearing. So, you know, I go up there and I sit because you're allowed to. I think the public kind of, you forget as actors. I mean, I recommend it to anyone, even just to go in and watch some of these character studies. But I got to sit there and just watch, you know, a version of my guy for like 2 hours, and that's invaluable.
Mr. Volpe has testified that Mr. Tristan threw him to the ground, punched him, kicked him, screamed at him like a madman, and Mr. Sacks wants to talk about notions of beauty.
Yeah, where are you going with this, Mr. Sacks?
I was going with the whole, So, yeah, I seem to have lost my train of thought there.
He's a gift to play for me because he's got so much latitude to him, and he's very angst-free, which is nice for me because I've played a lot of angst-full characters in the last little while, and it's so nice to come to work every day. He's the most present tense, you know, character that I've ever played. You know, his caution button is completely off. One of the guys was saying to me at the end of the day yesterday, because I came in and when I first did Elliot, I did him, you know, I would do it, they would call it a Michael Riley day. I'd come in and do one scene and go home, which was great. But I did a day where I basically was doing him all day, and I was exhausted at the end of the day.
Did you talk to him in his cell or not?
Yes.
Then he has a good reason to believe that you represent him.
I don't care what he believes. What? Who asked you?
I mean, I would do it myself, Your Honor, but I'm needed elsewhere, and since Ms. DeRay is already involved, there's no duty counsels present, I just thought...
Thank you, Mr. Sacks.
No problem. There you go. No charge for that little lesson.
Give us some more. How does that happen?
Okay, that was funny.
The thing that tickles me most about Elliot is that I get to go into props, which I've already done in the morning, and I go in and they have a bag there, and they give me the bag, and I just dip into it like a big, you know, just dip in and just fill my pockets, because we determined very early on that Elliot would never have a brief. You know, he would just have stuff. And like some guy has gone through, and like half the stuff I haven't even read. You know, Judge Brecky plays racquetball at Dover Court Y on Wednesday mornings. Buy a racket, or
You know, Diane, 555-6014, Latin music, you know? And it's just so great to, and because that's the way he is, you know, Elliot is just, he'll see a scrap of paper and figure out, oh my God, I'm supposed to be there today, you know? Find out when Judge Horo gets his pedicure and make an appointment. I mean, that kills me.
Apparently for the emotional response that this callous action of yours may affect elicited Mr. Tristan.
You know, when you're on set doing something, to me, it's always akin to being in a car and being ready to drive at any moment, you know? And you can't really turn the car off because while they're lighting and they're going, okay, we're ready for you, and I don't want to be sitting there having to start the car going, just a second, you know? And the character, because of the way that he is and his metabolism is pretty fast, I find that if I don't keep at least the car in idle, then it's just too much, you know? So during the day, it's just much easier for me to arrive in front of the camera with him up and running when the camera happens to be going, if I can kind of maintain that zone, you know?
So, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Maybe we could move this to 111 court tomorrow. We could set up a trial date.
I don't want to do that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I hear that can take months. How am I supposed to wait months in all this pain?
Can we get her some medical attention? How about we get them to give you something to take while you're in jail?
I got Demerol. It's got to be Demerol at least. I can stay in with Demerol.
You know, she requires Demerol for the pain in the pain in her nose, Your Honor.
Sure. Demerol, Percodan, whatever. I guess it's better than just letting her shoot up with crack in jail, Your Honor.
Put medical attention on her file and bring her back to set date tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So much of what I'm passionate about is very selfish. It's for me. It's the journey the little journeys and odysseys that I get to go on inside that person, and that's a private thing. If there could be nothing else, if I didn't, you know, if I could do it all over here with none of the rest of, you know, this stuff, it would be, I'd be fine with that, you know. I almost think it makes, and LA is very much like that, is the exposure level is so, the celebrity exposure level is so huge that I think it actually makes the disappearing act of the magic trick of doing it harder. You know, if we know what, you know, Jack Nicholson eats for breakfast, and so then every time it gets harder and harder for him to just disappear and transport us when we come back, because he as a thing has become, and I think that the more that cannot be the case, the easier it is to go and, you know, I'd much rather have people go, oh, that was you in that, like rather than go, wow, I saw you. You know what I mean? It's a higher compliment to be unrecognized in a way.